Good afternoon and welcome to the Richmond Good Old Days Grand Parade broadcast. With you again, I'm Preston Trent, and next to me is the lovely Caitlin Gordon.
Hi,
Welcome
Preston.
back.
Thank you so much. Always my favorite time of the year when we can get back together and commentate this wonderful parade. It's my favorite end to summer, unfortunately, but what a great way to end it.
Such a great way to end. You know, give us an extra week of summer here with Good Old Days, and so many great things going on. You and I got to sit here and chit chat for about, I'd say an hour.
Yeah.
On all the different things that we each got to experience throughout the festival, and we'll touch on some of those things as these various floats come by, but this really puts an exclamation point on the festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like always, we're situated down here next to Rick's shop. We got a great shot looking down at the town clock and the fire hall in the new social district
Which
in
we're
town.
so excited about. And I see a lot of Lions fans out there. I see the jerseys, the Honolulu blue. I think everybody's definitely enjoying the social district for the kickoff of the NFL season as well.
And I mean, I can't complain about this weather we got for today either. A little chilly yesterday for the children's parade, but you know, the sun came out. We got a nice little breeze, and we're happy to sit here and watch a parade with you guys. So as we see the opening banner making its way down.
And with one of my favorite traditions we actually do with the Richmond Good Old Days Parade, which is having the Richmond High School, middle school varsity players and everything carry those banners with all of our sponsors and just everything. Is a really cool touch.
It's a great touch. You know, I know as a former football player, that was something I got to look forward to every year. Looking back at it, I think I've sat and actually watched the parade as a spectator one time since 5th grade.
Yeah.
You know, I was either walking in it with the football team, or I was away at school, or, you know, I came back and they
now we're
roped
doing
me right,
this.
and here we are, 10 years later.
And now we get the best shot of the parade, now that we get to enjoy it.
And it's so great being out here and just interacting with the people that walk by and go and they get their chairs set up. You know, driving through town, you get this shot here of all of these people lining the street. And I can tell you, I walk from Gleason Street every year. It looks like this the whole way down the route.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite part when I come back into town, I stay the whole weekend at my parents' so that way I don't miss anything, is when I come in and Thursday night you'll see those chairs already lined up so people can get that prime spot for the parade.
There's nothing people will respect more than lawn chairs and caution tape a couple days before a parade. Like, you don't mess with that.
Yeah, dedicated fans.
And I mean, it's a big deal too. This is quite a parade to make sure you get a good seat for. So leading the way in the parade, as they usually do, are the members of the Richmond VFW. They've got their trailer decked out in all their POW flags, American flags, and some of the members of the VFW up there waving to the crowd.
And on the off chance you can't hear them coming, following them is the Richmond Police Department.
Yep. And they've been, I'll tell you what, these guys and girls have been working like crazy this week. Between the Richmond Police, we've got some of the mounted police from the Macomb County Sheriff's Office. We'll see other police departments come through. You know, a lot of people, a lot of different things going on, and it's nice having that presence and that peace of mind so that you can enjoy yourself when you come out here to Good Old Days.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, safe fun for all around.
Next, and a group that's been just as busy this weekend, is the Richmond Volunteer Fire Department. We got members of the Yelenich family there on the antique truck.
Now, Preston, I know we touch base on, these different activities going around, and since we do have the Richmond Fire Department coming through, we were talking a little bit about, the different activities we have going on. This year, I was able to take a little year off. I didn't get to participate in water ball, unfortunately, but one of the really cool events that has going on, and the festival even went live for people that weren't able to make it on site for that, so that was really fun to watch. So if you do not follow Richmond Good Old Days on their Facebook page, highly recommend so you do not miss anything.
Yeah, they've had, like you said, water ball going all day Saturday, and then they're at the car shows, they're at the derby, the figure eight, the bump and run. I mean, they're a little bit everywhere. And the one thing people don't realize is for the parade, they've got to do all that stuff all week, and then get up early today to shine the trucks for the parade.
Yeah, make sure everything looks good.
I had to wake my brother up so that he could get up in time to wash trucks. This one's cool, Caitlin. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but this is the new Richmond Lennox EMS ambulance. As part of the partnership with the school, we've got an EMT program now. So they had this ambulance, they bought this ambulance, had the graphics all put on it. We've gotten a lot of compliments when it's sitting there at football games or on at different events. So we're really thankful for that partnership.
Yeah, it looks so cool, and I can't imagine how this gets under the Friday Night Lights.
I know. Next, we're looking at some members of the Ray Township and Lennox Township Fire Departments. And again, we've had some members of these various departments out here all week helping with those coverage for some of those events.
I love how they brought the Home Depot buckets this year. They knew that they did not have enough candy last year, so they stepped up their game.
You always hate to run out of candy at the end of a parade. It's a terrible feeling.
You can't look at the crowd and not have candy.
Wow. Members of the Memphis and then Armada Township Fire Departments. And we're looking at some members of the Joe Ballard Towing Company. In their red shirts and big Joe Ballard tow truck.
Luckily for the parade route this year, at least nowhere by me in Preston, we did not have to have anybody towed to make sure that we were able to be ready for the parade today.
I didn't, on my walk down, I did not see any cars parked illegally. I saw some people that weren't happy they had to turn around and the road got closed, but...
They heeded our warnings from the last couple of years that Joe Ballard is here to make sure that this parade route is clear.
So... And following them, we'll give these guys a little bit extra time too in that yellow convertible. We'll start talking about our grand marshals for this year. And again, I think we say this every year, Caitlin, but two extremely deserving individuals for this year's grand marshal, who are Dave and Bernie Scheuer. I've known the Scheuers my whole life. Dave is a member of the fire department, was fire chief for a couple years, involved in a bunch of different organizations. You know, I call him one of my super fans. He's at every football game, every wrestling meet. So
yeah, definitely two people that you definitely see around the community. And one of my favorite things, Miss Bernie was actually a part of our very first Miss Richmond in Court, which you know is always going to be near and dear to my heart to see those women still involved in the community.
So just two extremely deserving individuals, and we're glad we get to recognize them here at Good Old Days. Couple sponsor banners coming by. The Richmond Lions Club, I know they had a booth set up outside the fair. They had a raffle going on. And then American Energy Solutions and Varga Chiropractic. And our Richmond High School band. Oh, I love those Carolina blue flags. I haven't seen those yet.
Yeah, those look great.
I've heard them. They had band camp about a month ago, and I heard a little bit of the music. I didn't get a chance to get out and look, but I just love the Carolina blue. A little bit of Neil Diamond as they come through.
Loving it. And as we mentioned, a great day for the parade route, especially for all of our band members that are carrying these instruments. They're probably a lot more comfortable today than they've been in some years past when it's been really hot.
And there's our Lions Club mascot waving to the crowd.
Behind our Richmond High School band, 3 other ladies that you have probably seen running around this weekend having a great time. We have our Miss Richmond in Court members. This year's Miss Richmond is Riley Jacks. She is a 2024 senior graduate of Richmond High School. She's now at St. Clair St. Clair Community College playing soccer there. And her 2 court members, which is Faith Thompson and Kate Karasinski Starnes, they're both seniors this year at Richmond High School. Faith was actually the 2012 Little Miss Richmond, and Katie was also on the Little Miss Richmond court. Both of those girls, which again makes me feel old every year, were my girls too, so to see them all grown up, I just love it.
And again, this is another group that you hold near and dear, Caitlin, the Little Miss court.
Yes, these cuties have also been running around having a great time. This year's newly crowned Little Miss Richmond, Emerson Smith, and then her court members, Brooklyn Berg, Jersey Moore, Jolene Rose, and Isabella Schweiger.
As we see the Thomas McGovern attorney banner come through, and our TM Smith Tool Company and Fred Grandy sponsor banners. And again, we make sure we mention all these sponsors because they're a huge part of the festival.
Yeah.
It's a volunteer festival. In terms of getting onto the festival grounds, we don't charge admission like Armada does. And a lot of the funds that come for the fair come from these sponsors. They come from entry fees for other certain events. And then the fair then takes that money and puts it back into the community. They donate to teams, athletic teams. They donate to
different organizations.
So we're extremely thankful for everything. We'll talk more about our fair board, but all these sponsors as well.
Preston, this is another one of our favorites that comes out to our parade every year. We always love a good pipe band coming through, so we're always happy when they're able to come and celebrate with us.
Yep, we're listening to the Ingersoll Pipe Band. They come to us from across the border in Ontario, Canada. And I remember a lot of years when I'm at the fire, when I would get ready at the fire hall, they would be some of the first people there getting ready for the parade and stuff. So we're glad they join us every year. And we're looking at members of the Green family. Jamie Green, former member of our city council, who's running for re-election for state rep. Her district covers a lot of the city of Richmond and some of the surrounding areas. There's Representative Green waving to us. And those signs really stand out because they're green. They're not blue, they're not red, white, or blue. They're green. So it's kind of she's got a built-in marketing thing right there.
She's just ready to go.
Yeah. You just can't say enough great things about this, and I know we'll keep harping on it, but just being out here in the atmosphere of the parade and looking at all the different people that come from everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing people with all sorts of different shirts on from this city, this school, that school, that all come out and just want to be a part of this parade. So Coming down the way now, somebody bought a pizza.
Maybe they'll share with us later.
We need to get a hold of Hungry Howie's. No. Coming down now, we're seeing members of the Richmond Community Schools staff and school board. There's school board member Fortuna and Miss Borwick and Miss Zabo, high school dean and principal. Coming down the way, there's Superintendent Walmsley tossing gifts out to the crowd. Some of our teachers. Oh, whose dog is that? Oh, that's
He's
a
ready
lion.
for the Lions game too.
Oh, thank you guys.
Oh, we always love it
when we get
the little prizes that come with it.
So if you see what they've got, there's Miss Gallagher and Mrs. Telto, one of our school board members. They've got these yellow stress ball pencils,
which can definitely come in handy this time of year, whether you went back to school or not.
Yeah. And one of our school buses coming down the way. School started up last week, and I probably could have used this stress pencil a couple times, but now I've got it. Oh, the kids will love this one.
A classic, even if you don't have kids. We have special guest Bluey with us.
I mean, how many parades can you see Bluey riding down in a classic convertible?
I know.
North Star Bank, sponsor of the parade. And members of the North Star Bank staff.
I saw them not that long ago. They were in their parking lot getting the North Star Bank star ready to go, getting the truck all decked out for the parade. So they have been ready for this.
Members of the Hometown Football League players in their jerseys as well, helping to hand those out. And we've got 911 dumpsters, Bertassi Bulldozing, and DeBuck's Landscape and Design. I know the Bertassi equipment and crews have been out at the Derby pits pretty much all weekend.
Making sure they're looking good.
Yep. Getting everything changed up for the different events. And the Chippewa Valley High School Band. We're thumbing through the book, and it looks like we'll have about 13 different high school bands playing in today's parade.
I think one of our largest turnout we've had in years.
Yeah, we might have to dig through the archives, but I think we're pretty close.
Interrupted because he's just the man of the people over here.
We did talk about that in our pre-show meeting. So one of the things too, I was thinking about it as we came down, is it's an election year this year, so we're going to see a lot of different political groups and organizations out campaigning. So the one you're looking at right now is Sarah Gillies and Dave Manguni, who are both running for school board, running together. There's Sarah and Dave. And we've got some different members of the Lee School staff, some families. There's Mrs. Manguni down there. So we'll start to see those campaign signs pop up here next week or so on every street corner or big yard somebody's got. So we had Dr. Groenveld Dentistry and New Holland Tractors. Some more members of the varsity and JV football teams. And
here comes another another group, which we are always impressed with their skills when they're on this parade route and everything that they can do. But the Temple Motors cords, excuse me, that are coming through again, which maybe one year we can get a lesson from them before the parade or something and see if we can maybe pull a trick like this.
One year we're just going to see Caitlin with a helmet on the back of one of these motorcycles.
I'll do the parade on the parade route, actually.
And we'll see a couple different Shriner groups as we go through the parade, but again, one of those organizations does a ton of work in the community for the less fortunate, getting people the support they need financially. And you got to know these guys love doing this on the parade.
Oh yeah.
Lining up for the shot in front of our cameras.
We also love parade participants that really know where the cameras are to get that good shot.
Yeah. Oh, they're experts now. The next is the Stover's Firewood antique truck. Members of the Richmond Historical Society. If you didn't get a chance, it's another one of those things on down by the festival to go check out. They got all the antique buildings and antique schoolhouse open up for tours. So the Masonic members of the Masonic Lodge. Ooh, this one's new. I saw it coming down, but I thought it was like the Halloween paintball ones, but no, this is Blue Devil Jiu-Jitsu with an Army transport vehicle.
Still probably another group we want to be cautious of because they obviously know how to handle themselves.
So they got members of the gym down there, and even some of the kids. I know they run a lot of classes. They get kids involved in the sport, and it's good, healthy exercise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I've seen this driving around town. It's a Tesla Cybertruck.
I think this is the first time I've seen one in person.
The first time you've seen it?
Yeah, I honestly thought somebody did some custom work to it. I didn't realize this is something that I could actually go out and buy if I wanted to.
Yeah, I see it quite a bit around town, and it catches your eye at first. Next is the members of the St. Peter's Church and their African Queen boat. Members of the St. Peter's staff. And this is Macomb County Clerk's Office, Anthony Forlini, running for re-election as Macomb County Clerk. There's Mr. Forlini. Ooh, that's a sharp-looking Bronco.
I know, I like the Bronco.
It almost looks like a like one of those little Tykes cars with that paint scheme. And next, members of the Richmond Trap Team. So there's some of the Trap Team members up top there on the picnic tables. Some of the parents passing out candy.
This has just, I feel like, been another great addition to the Richmond community schools and everything. And they've competed so well since they have officially come a part of the community. So super exciting to have, you know, this generation going through. Excited to see what they're able to accomplish within this sport as well.
Yeah, just a group that's grown steadily, and every year they're competing at the state and national levels. and performing really, really well. And they do a ton of work. It's an expensive program when you're talking shells, you're talking clays, you're talking practice and competitions. So these parents do a ton of work, and they're advertising their side-by-side ride. They do a big raffle for a side-by-side every year.
Speaking of a raffle for a side-by-side, did Sam ever get her
She did not yet.
So we can enter the raffle for her and see if we can get it for her this year.
So I've known 3 people that have won the side-by-side from their raffle. And I'm like, okay, I'm close.
It's almost
We're
your
close.
time.
Members of Telto Contracting and Northern Air, sponsors of the parade. Some of our high school football players. Yep, they love me. And our neighbors to the north, the Memphis Yellow Jackets Marching Band.
I always love seeing communities like Memphis where you don't think they have, you know, a super huge presence or anything like that, but this is a marching band that is strong with almost 50 members, which is very impressive, honestly.
Yeah, and I think I've said it before, I had the opportunity to observe when I was student teaching at Memphis, Mr. Joshua Esch's band classes, and you see why the band has the numbers it does and they sound as well as they do. It just, you know, the passion that people like Mr. Esch put into their bands really makes the difference.
I love seeing the kids go out into the street. They're being very safe, but they're making sure no candy is left behind.
Oh yeah. So this year, walking the children's parade was the first year I threw candy, and I didn't realize how much of an art there is to throwing candy. Like, you just can't throw it overhand because it'll, like, you can hit somebody.
You can't help the children.
And you also got to figure out, you know, the type of candy you have. You have to throw it differently. So I had like packets of Nerds clusters and gummy worms that were like flat and light. So I had to like really get those under there.
Get the good underhand, yeah.
Yeah. This one, and it's an antique car owned by the Ray Wiegand family.
All right, so far, I'm thinking this is my car I'll fight you for. If like we have a chance to take one home. I think that's it for me.
I did just buy a new Chevy truck, so I don't think I could bring another one home, but maybe.
But then you could officially be in the antique car parade.
Yeah, if we get a minute, we may have to talk about that experience, my experience in the antique show this year. We got Ray Wiegand's Nursery and Rick's Shop sponsor banners coming down. Rick's Shop every year provides us a great windbreak from the wind coming up from the south.
Yes.
Set up right out here between the shop and Marathon. This is one of your favorites. You flipped right through to make sure these guys were back.
Sure my guys were coming. Well, because I'm also always concerned for you, Preston. I don't want creepy clowns, zombies, anybody attacking us during the parade. So I always have to make sure the Ghostbusters are here to keep us safe.
We might have to add them to my personal security detail under the tent here.
They're always a super fun one for the parade too. It always gets the crowd really engaged in everything. And I really like as well, I don't know if you can see on the car right behind, but they're paying homage to the new Beetlejuice movie that's come out.
Ah. Yep. Now I haven't seen the new Ghost. Is this vehicle from the new Ghostbusters, or is that just?
I think that's from one of their newer ones.
Okay.
They've really amped up their equipment since the original Ghostbusters came out. Ghosts are trickier nowadays, you know?
They are. We got members of the Puwalls Plumbing Solutions. They're located just south on Main Street from where we're stationed. He's got a trophy. I don't know what that trophy's for.
looks like a car. I wonder if maybe they were able to participate in the bump and run or anything like that.
Oh, now those go-karts are sweet.
Are those your choice for the vehicle you're taking home?
So I've got a go-kart, like a little one like that sits real low to the ground, same motor and stuff. And my cousin's got a track that we race them on.
Yeah.
That would be, I need to give them a call. We'll get the ones with the toilet out there.
Here comes another really great pillar in our community, the Art in Motion Dance Studio.
Yep. And I know these groups, different dance studios will perform at the stage on the baseball diamond just outside the festival grounds all year. So just really adds to and really gives everybody here something to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a giant Tootsie Roll, which can only mean one thing. It's the Knights of Columbus.
Yes.
You know, I have to say, I'm a traditional kind of candy girl. So when I was a kid, I was all about the Tootsie Rolls. When that was getting thrown out and other kids wanted the suckers and everything, I was swooping in to grab those.
And we've got members of the Pankowitz Cider Mill and Farm. There's Mr. Pankowitz waving to the crowd. It's almost cider mill season. And I know I enjoy going out, and I know you do as well, going out to the different cider mills. And, you know, each one's got a little bit of something different. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out Pankowitz Cider Mill,
it's one of my favorites to go to, honestly.
Yeah, it's nice. It's quaint. It's right there on Church Road. They got amazing donuts and cider.
Yeah.
So I can't say enough great things. Two more sponsors, D&E Landscaping and Jeremy's Automotive.
Preston, we found our Pirates. I've been seeing Pirates walking around. We were trying to figure out which band they were a part of, and it's the Port Huron Northern Marching Band that's got their pirate theme this year.
Yeah. And some Pirates of the Caribbean music to go with it.
I know we're always a really big fan of when bands have a theme for the parade and they really stick with it. Makes it a lot easier also for us to guess the songs that they're playing as well.
They've also got their band directors and some of their parents dressed up, so everybody's getting in on it. Obviously, big band, you gotta have a big trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. I always love seeing them play the Tetris with it, because when I'm driving home from the parade sometimes, I'll catch them loading everything up, and it's quite impressive.
And we got Anthony Servito running for Circuit Court Judge.
Another really cool Bronco coming through as well. And right behind them, we have First State Bank.
I saw this one getting ready when I was coming home. No, I came uptown to run some errands, get some coffee. And they were putting this one together. And then it comes down, their float comes down the road. And thankfully, Main Street's really wide because you're going to see it. This thing does not fit in one lane of traffic. So they had to kind of put it together in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then real slow down Main Street.
A good problem to have, though, for a parade float.
Yeah. It is pretty impressive, too. So rock your finances. So they got a little music stage set up.
They heard we were a musical parade and they said, I got you.
Mm-hmm. And following them, we've got members of the DeBucks Landscape and Design Company. I believe that's Austin. Is that Austin in this truck? One of the ones back. But if you haven't seen some of the work they've done, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Might have to be giving them a call. A storm took down a tree in my yard, so we gotta do some landscaping. I got a hole that needs to get fixed. We gotta put something in there.
Well, looks like they've got the equipment to do it, Caitlin. I think we've got the number in our program book here too.
Now, is this another toy, Preston, that potentially could find room on your property for?
It's funny because I've been doing a lot of work and I'm like, man, a mini excavator will make this really easy.
A lot easier.
One day. One day. After Sam gets her side-by-side. Of course.
Fair.
Of course. So this is the Richmond High School robotics team. They, Caitlin, actually got to compete at nationals in, it was in Texas, and I don't want them to get me wrong. I believe it was either Austin or Dallas, and I apologize to the robotics team, but they got to go down to Texas and compete at the national competition.
Which is so cool. Another really cool addition to the Richmond Community Schools, which again has just been a team that has hit the ground running with all the work that they've been doing. I feel like every time I see an update, it's this championship, this winning, so it's always really cool to see what the team has come up with.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we were talking football earlier in our broadcast,
and luckily tonight, the Lions game is later, which means we would have time. We could hit up the Hamlin Pub if we wanted to and see exactly what our Detroit Lions are going to be doing tonight.
I went there yesterday. I am not a Michigan fan, but I did go there for lunch yesterday during the Michigan-Texas game, and it was maize and blue from wall to wall. And then one dude sitting there with a Notre Dame hat on.
Oh.
That would be me. But I'm sure it'll all be decked out in Honolulu blue today.
Little do you guys all know, me and Preston actually have our Honolulu blue under our blazers. As soon as we're done with the broadcast, that's going to come off Honolulu blue all the way. I'm doing Hutch. Who are you doing?
I'm a big Jared Goff fan.
I love it.
So the one jersey I own, and I won it for a fantasy football league, I won a Matt Prater jersey.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you know what? And I'll wear it down to Ford Field, and I get a ton of compliments on it because people are like,
that's a great one to have.
He's the man. Even though he doesn't play for us, he's still the man. Metal Lodge of Richmond and Heinz Chiropractic, longtime sponsors of the parade. Everybody clapping along to the chicken dance. Another one of our Shriner groups. I guess we'd call that a musical car. Musical car.
Musical car, I like
Writing
it.
that one down. Jeepster. It's a Jeepster.
Oh, we didn't even have to name it.
Health Quest Physical Therapy and Hamlin Pub again. And green, Caitlin, that must mean New Haven.
Yep, we have the New Haven marching band coming through now.
And it looks like they got a Stranger Things kind of theme going on. They got the shirts and...
Preston, this might surprise you. I've never seen Stranger Things.
I saw like 3 episodes and I couldn't get into it. Like I didn't know what was... I was watching it. I'm like, what's going on with somebody that's seen it? And they're like, oh, you just got to keep watching it. I'm like, no.
Too much.
This next one's Urban Air Adventure Park. It looks like Irby. Haven't seen him before. That's a new mascot.
And now we've got the Richmond Veterinary Care Center, which makes sense because I feel like I saw a lot of dogs pre-parade. But with their vet clinic in, I mean, they obviously got to show support.
Yeah. And there's a unicorn. So, I mean, they'll
can handle all of your pet
They'll take care
needs.
of all sorts of pets. You got real pets, you got imaginary pets. Next, we got Raymond Steyer. He's running for school board. And we got members of his campaign committee handing out information and some candy. Important to get the candy out to the kids.
That's how you get the votes.
Yes. Now this float looks like a bunch of people having fun, right? And how could you not on a jungle-themed float like that? So this is Grace Community Church, located over on Friday Street, kind of right around the corner from the school, or Tivoli's.
Yep.
Love how those are our two landmarks: school, pizza.
That
right?
makes sense. Yes, they're representing their Vacation Bible School, which is a jungle journey.
That looks like a blast.
You think we're too old to sign up?
They'll probably put us to work.
They probably would, honestly. They'd be like, actually, we've been looking for more volunteers.
Probably wouldn't be a bad thing. It looks like fun. And I know Pastor Brian back there, we'll get a shot of him loading up these candy buckets.
He'll be like, this is how we'll put you to work. More candy.
So, Pyro Joe's Fireworks and Verlindi Insurance. Caitlin, I don't know if you've seen it, but Pyro Joe's has been doing fireworks for us at the football games, and it is phenomenal. And when groups come in and they see it, they'll do them during the anthem. Groups come in and they see it, and they just rave about it. So I can't say enough great things about the Pyro Joe's staff and what they do.
Yeah.
We always talk about these guys.
Yes, and luckily we are always far enough away, covered under a tent, so we do not get hit with the water hose.
Well, we got the Detroit Shriners Keystone Cops. You know, my old high school coach used to tell us we look like the Keystone Cops out here, and it was usually after we messed something up. And I'm like,
They messed nothing up.
That doesn't look like a bad thing. That looks like these guys are having fun. Maybe the Keystone Cops are something we want to be, Coach.
Yeah. Maybe this is where we start with the Shriners. We'll start with the mini bikes. And then when they feel we've graduated enough, then we can try more of the hard stunts on those big motorcycles we saw earlier.
And sponsors, Foster Blue Water Oil and Dr. Cherokee. I know I talk a lot about my walk down here every year, but you know, BP is always packed.
Yep.
You know, between the bands and the parade goers and all the kids. And I know the staff's out there handing out slips, and the kids love the Slurpees, and just a great group. Do a lot of great things in the community and donations and whatnot. So group I look forward to every year, the Plymouth Fife and Drum Corps.
With, as always, some of our favorite hats.
And the music sounds great.
I feel like it's the two things you always need in a parade. You always need bagpipes, and you always need a pipe band.
Now, I think we mentioned this last year, Caitlin. I still, and maybe I need to reach out to somebody's at Jeremy's. I want to know how they get in this truck. I see this truck all around town. I see it out at Jeremy's Automotive at the shop. I see people in there.
Yeah.
But
They're packed this year too.
I've never seen people get in or out of this truck, and I know they do.
Or, you know what, they might just live in there.
Maybe. Maybe I'll get a hold of somebody. We'll talk about it. But we're seeing other members of the Jeremy's Automotive families. I know I've taken my car to Jeremy's, and I've actually called the towing company before, and nothing but great things to say about their entire staff.
Yeah. Looks like they've even added a NASCAR to their trucks this year.
Add that to our list of things from the parade we want to try driving. This one's definitely up your alley, Caitlin.
Yes, Preston, it's okay. I'll take this one. You can cover your eyes. I will let you know when they go by. But it's Scarefest Scream Park, another one of our favorite sponsors within the parade that comes out every year for us. It looks like, though, they have heard some of your little complaints. It doesn't look like they did any creepy clowns this year.
Feedback. Yeah.
Although it looks like they've added a python.
Yeah,
a couple of pythons, actually. So they're tapping into different fears.
Gotcha.
But it looks like the kids are loving it, honestly.
I think that's a real snake.
You know what it is? It's raising reptiles.
A couple more sponsors. Henry Ford Health. Ooh, what are they handing out?
Oh, special candy. It's like trick-or-treating. They're letting the kids pick. We love it.
And Crane Rental and North Star Bank. I think, though, Caitlin, kind of looking at it with we haven't had a scary clown come up to us since that one year.
Yes.
But I think with the popularity of the parade continuing to grow and the social district here in town, we got a pretty good wall of people between us and the parade. So
we've got good buffers.
I feel safe. I feel safe.
That's always important.
We're looking down now at the Utica High School. The Utica High School band. I think in terms of high schools too, this is probably one of the further drives for a school to get up here, and we appreciate them coming up year after year after year.
Yeah.
Keep looking over at Jason like he's going to tell me to stop tapping my pen with the band music. It's just
enjoying it. You can't help it.
And a lot of the drum lines, they'll all compete right across from where we're set up at, and it's fun to kind of listen to that and kind of get you geared up for what you're going to hear during the parade.
Yeah.
So. Ooh, I see crowns, Caitlin.
Yep, coming right up behind them is the Bayarama Fish Fly Festival of Queens. This year's queen is Marissa, joined by her court member, Berkeley. You know, living out in St. Clair Shores now, me and the fish flies have become pretty tight over the years. So I love seeing the decked out fish fly up there. This one's a lot cuter than the ones that I have to, brush off my car in the summer, but we've learned to accept.
I found a fish, so I was up in the press box for a soccer game on Friday, and there was a fish fly on my chair at the high school. I was like, dude, you're lost.
They travel.
You're a little further east or west than you should be. Sponsors Richmond Collision and Printall. I've actually used both of those businesses, and again, can't complain about either. because they do phenomenal work. Hopefully we don't have to make a call to Richmond Collision for these guys.
Yeah.
But a couple more Shriners. We haven't seen these trucks at a parade before.
Yeah, I feel like these are new trucks for them, but I'm really liking it. They've got the light up LED flagpoles coming. The paint jobs look fresh.
It kind of reminds me of when my dad got tired of charging the batteries that come with our Power Jeep when we were kids.
Yep.
So he put he wired a car battery into it.
Because my dad did the same thing. He's like, this is dying all the time. You gotta put the good battery in there.
And not only did that battery not die nearly as quick, there's a lot more power. There might still be some skid marks on the dead end street where we used to race that thing up and down. Now these are signs that I see all over the county, and they just pop right out at you. It's Pete Lucido, running for re-election as Macomb County prosecutor. We'll see the bright yellow signs here for about another 2 months. Oh, he's got a fire truck with him this year too. There's Mr. Lucido, waving to the crowd, gave us a thumbs up. So one way to get reelected is have your own fire truck, because it definitely, people love fire trucks.
I might have to ask. I didn't know that you could just get a fire truck.
I'm sure you can buy any kind of car.
Well, after this parade, I think I can, honestly. I might have to ask some people.
I'm sure you could find one on like Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I've got an antique one my dad left at the house when I bought it, if you want to put it back together.
I was going to say, I was waiting for you to tell me that somewhere on your property there's a truck that I could take.
It's in a couple hundred pieces.
Well, a fun winter project, some would say.
Now we've seen a few of these this year. I think we saw one last year, but more of them this year. These kind of rolling billboard signs is kind of cool.
Maybe we'll see if we can get one next year and we can have us broadcasting.
Preston and Caitlin.
Yeah.
Check out Richmond TV. Because they can check us out on Channel 6, they can check us out online, they can check us out on the billboard.
Yeah.
This is a new group for us. This is Restore Vitality Naturally. So they're health consultants, they're a health store. A lot of different ways to help people get their bodies back on track. I'm sure after all of this fair food, I may need to go stop by.
That's not a bad idea. I still might have one more elephant ear, and then I'll call them on Monday.
Oh, that does sound good. That might be the move after we're done. And this is Diverge Camper Company, another new entry into our parade. That looks like a way I could camp, Caitlin. Solar panels, which means it's got power.
The bed looks comfy.
I bet you it's got air conditioning.
Glamping, I think that's what it's called.
Hey, I don't care what it is. As long as I got AC and I can shower, I'm good. Otherwise, no thanks. And that looked like Richmond Rotary Club and Grace Performance sponsor banners that went by. And this is the orange and black of the Armada Tiger Marching Band. With school coming back last week, We had a lot of community building and different classes and different things teachers were doing to get the kids in their class to get to know each other and work collaboratively a little bit better throughout the year. And one of them was Mr. Misko's class was playing Song Quiz when I came in.
Ooh, I like that one.
And it was, I got like 8 within like a bar or 2 of the opening riffs, and the kids were just like jaws on the floor.
Very impressed.
So following their band, it looks like the Miss Armada and her court members.
Yes, this year's Miss Armada is Abby Nickel with her court members, Kennedy Waskin and Addison Miller. They just wrapped up the Armada Festival not that long ago, so we're super excited they were able to come out and help celebrate ours as well.
And I know Abby got to participate in the bump and run. You know, they had a group donate a car and she was able to drive it. And unfortunately, some mechanical issues. She got to run about a couple laps and then the car decided not so much. So, but fun to see when, you know, I'm sure you did a ton of this with your time as queen, but being able to get out and do some of those different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is this?
This is the little squirt fire truck. Maybe this is where I should start if I'm going to own a fire truck.
That is sweet. That is all. I'll talk to Dad. I'll see if it's in the budget to get one of those for the department.
Well, Preston, since you're talking about adding more vehicles on everything, maybe you'll have to check out these next guys, which is Expert Storage Solutions.
Yeah, I know they came through last year and we talked quite a bit about it. Actually, wouldn't be a bad idea, really declutter. It is so nice now, having done it to 2 houses, being able to declutter everything. Thankfully, we had somewhere for it to go, but you know, if you're really looking to declutter and you know, get that peace of mind from having some space, I would definitely give these guys a call. It looks like they got portable units too,
which is really nice. That
would be sweet. And this next one is the committee to elect Benjamin Shook for probate judge. Those kids have got some serious sign spinning skills.
I know, and they're doing flips and everything too. They were a good hire.
And members of the election committee in their blue shirts. Solid color, solid color. Sponsors My Choice Energy and Jonathan Frank Law Firm, as well as RS Installations and, ooh, getting a little bit of wind. Looks like Rewalt Pesh Funeral Home. I have not been in there since they've remodeled it, but I heard it's beautiful inside.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
And this one is the Great Lakes Drum Corps Alumni Band.
Now, if I was going to be in a band, I like this. You can sit. If it's too hot, it doesn't matter. You don't got to walk the whole thing. This is a band up my alley.
And more importantly, what people forget about with parades, you've got to ride back from the end of the parade. Definitely American themes going through. I love it. Love it. I'm just loving this weather.
Yeah.
This is
beautiful
awesome.
Out today.
And coming down now is the St. Augustine Catholic School. And we've got some of the students. We've got some of the staff members. They've got a mini Jeep. I I didn't get a chance to check out the St. A's Festival, but I heard it was another solid year, and it does a ton. Oh, there's Father Mark giving hugs to the crowd out there. Just an awesome addition to the community, Father Mark's been.
Yeah.
Next is Mark Ellis and his rolling town clock. This year is in memory of Joe Evans, owner of Richmond Meat Packers, passed away this year. But Mark will play that piano the entire length of the parade.
Another really great staple of the parade.
And sponsor banners, PGS Dentistry, and I believe that's Growing Smiles. They're getting a little tight on me here. And there they are. There's members of the PGS staff.
Definitely will be busy, I'm sure, with back to school, Halloween and everything coming up.
Elephant ears,
Yep.
parade candy. It's kind of job security,
Yeah.
you know. The dentist's office passes out a bunch of candy on the parade route, and then the next couple weeks they're booked.
They're booked.
And this looks like it's Terrence Mikowski, who's running for Macomb County Sheriff this year. And he brought his own drum corps, it looks like. Yeah. Decked out Ford F-250. And sponsors Bailey Dental Group and Supreme Electric.
I always love seeing all the golf carts that'll get decorated for this weekend, and that was another great one right there.
Yeah, that's Manasi's Banquet Center and Richmond Flower Shop. And this, we hear them coming, are the Macomb Highlanders Pipe and Drum Corps. Now, I believe a lot of these bagpipe bands and different bands will be in the beer tent this afternoon.
Yes.
So it makes for a long day for some of them. I mean, you got to get up, you got to get here, you got to get lined up. You know, one of the things we always had carrying the banners of the parade is you get up here, you hurry up, get up, and then you wait.
Yup.
But we appreciate them coming out and then in the beer tent this afternoon.
Yes, makes it also a lot easier to find the beer tent if for any reason you haven't been there this weekend yet. They're the driving force.
Yep. And this group, so Caitlin, big summer here in Richmond. We had some awesome Little League teams go pretty far into the state tournament. The 8 and 10-year-old team were district champions last year. The 9 and 11-year-olds were district champions last year. And 2 years ago, they were district champions as 8-year-olds. 9-year-olds, they won it. And then this year, they won it as well. And they were a game away from the state championship. So we're seeing members of the Little League team, some of their parents.
Yep.
I know I got to follow along with quite a bit of it and knowing some of the kids.
And luckily, because it is a Little League team, I've seen some of our camera operators, since they got those good arms, they're getting it all the way up there, which I love to see.
And just, you know, I had some of the parents from the Little League reached out and they're like, hey, you know, boys are playing real well this summer. Can we borrow the mascot? I'm like, absolutely.
Take them.
Love it. Blue and white all summer long. Speaking of blue and white and bunch of different athletic teams and youth teams here. This is Boulder City, located out there on Gratiot. I know they're big supporters of a bunch of different programs and do a lot of great work. It's funny, you look at all the people walking in the parade from the community, you're like, who's there to watch?
Yeah.
Like, and the streets are still packed. We got Commercial House and Extra Credit Union sponsors, and the Centerline Marching Band. This, Caitlin, this might be the longest drive for a high school band. Centerline further than Utica?
I want to say Centerline probably does have a little bit longer of a drive than Utica does.
And what I'm learning now being in the school and interacting, a lot more with our band and our band director, Miss Shack, is, these bands will do everybody's parade. So they'll do Armada, they'll do Peach Fest, they'll do Bayrama. So I mean, it's all summer they're going. And you can tell because they just sound phenomenal.
They're always getting ready for those Friday night games, so the parades are great practice for them.
Now Sam keeps reminding me this next group. She's like, hey, this winter, I can't wait. I get to have my Synogen again. I get to have my Synogen. And I'm like, yes, you get to have your Synogen. Well, for those of you that are wondering why is Preston talking about this, Starcraft Brewing, located in the new social district in town. Sam loves that their Synogen, so it's a Christmas beer. Mm-hmm. It's got, it's a cinnamon flavored beer, but then it's got candy cane on the rim.
Oh, so cute.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. If you haven't checked them out, they got, it rotate. They got their kind of 4 staple beers, and then it rotates throughout the year.
Seasonal,
and it's a great little, and it's kind of tucked away. It's not huge. It's kind of small.
Sometimes those are the best ones, though. I
walk in there and it's packed, and people are playing euchre. They're playing board games, and it's definitely becoming one of those kind of staples of downtown over here. And our Richmond varsity and middle school cheer teams.
Another really great, talented group of athletes.
Mm-hmm. And again, a group that does stuff like this all year round. There's court member Faith Thompson. She's a senior this year and a captain of the cheer team. Waving to the crowd. There's Coach Parker and Coach Sarah driving the golf cart. Caitlin, here's a company you can call. We were talking about that tree ad come down. Active Tree Experts. So for the past two out of my 3 years as an administrator now, we have had a nasty storm come through the day of Meet the Teacher Night.
Which is always a great thing.
The first year was just the high school, but we had all these people in here, and we had the gust-nado.
Yep.
It was a tornado. Like, let's be honest. Let's not discount it.
Yeah, let's call it what it was.
And then this year we had really, we had a tornado watch and some nasty thunderstorms come through. And I know I saw the active tree trucks out all night and then all the next day cleaning up trees around town. And we got the Jurassic Park Jeep.
Which looks like it's for Motor City.
Motor City Camping. And the Detroit Fire Department Clown Crew. These clowns are cool.
I was going to ask,
I'm good
these
with these
clowns we're fine with.
Yeah. They look like they're having a good time, too. We could put my brother on that truck. He'd fit right in. What? And this giant ear of corn looking truck comes to us from Blue Flame Propane. And Sunrise Convenience Stores following behind them.
Another fun sponsor that's been walking around all weekend, handing out with all the bands and everything, different drink flyers and tokens and all that good stuff. Like you mentioned, they were very busy this morning with everybody coming in.
Absolutely slammed. But, you know, you can't say enough great things. It's what makes a community great are the people. And we talk about all these different companies and these different groups and these different organizations, and it's really what makes a town a community.
Yeah.
So we see sponsor banners, Joe Ballard Towing, and like we said, Sunrise Convenience Stores. And one of the larger bands we'll see today, the Dakota High School Marching Band. So we got the blue and green of the Cougars coming through.
There you go, a school that represents both of our colors.
Yes.
Now, one thing that we haven't been able to touch on, but since we have a little bit of a break right here with one of our larger bands, is right across the street, which is always fun for me and Preston when we're getting mic check, getting set up and everything, is they have the drumline competition with all the bands over there.
Yeah, that was where we found out just how many bands we've got in this. That drumline competition went up pretty much until go time for the parade. So some of those they had to hustle.
Their spots,
and it's not like they're carrying anything small as we see them come by. They've got big drums that they've got to hustle down to where the band's at. Which I think makes, I mean, if this wasn't already the best spot to watch a parade, I think it's pretty much
adds that extra little touch on top.
It's a done deal. This is the best spot to watch the parade. So now everybody, we're going to be like,
we're never,
stadium
you can't give up the secret.
I know. Second best place to watch is probably on Richmond TV.
Yeah, there you go. Coming up, we have some of our antique tractors, and you can also see them all weekend at the festival grounds. They have the antique tractors parked. Of course, the owners and everything are there to answer any questions and everything for that. Yeah, and you know, a lot of these, being where we're at and the kind of community we are, we've got a ton of different farms and longtime family farms, and they take a lot of pride in these antique tractors. You know, some of them aren't you know, things that you can put out in the fields and get a lot of work done nowadays, but they did back in the day, and it takes a lot of work to keep them up and keep them clean and keep them running. So we're really thankful that they do, because it adds another thing to the festival. Another group that was absolutely slammed this morning when I drove through. I was going to get breakfast, and then they were lined up all the way to the road. Well, it looks like they're handing out some snacks right now.
The Schultz family McDonald's. And then I believe that was Jackson Allen, Realty Executives. And I missed that one, I'm sorry.
I think that might have been Set in Stone Construction.
Yes.
That came through. But now you are looking at the Romeo High School Marching Band.
Yep, so our neighbors to the west made the trip down 32 Mile.
Festival that just wrapped up was the Romeo Peach Festival, so I'm sure this band is just still warmed up from all the performances they had to do for that as well.
There's Set in Stone Construction.
This is the truck you've been looking for. You've had some copycats come through, but these are the ones.
This is the one, because this one's always parked out. Set in Stone Construction, located right next door to BP. There, the corner of Main and 32, and this truck will be parked out all year round. Get an extra long look at them as our parade makes its way down Main. Following the Romeo Band, we've got our Peach Queen.
Yeah. Another young lady that has been very busy all year representing her community. Again, just getting off of her festival as well, so super thankful that she was able to make the trek out to celebrate with us.
And we talk about groups that are, you know, busy all weekend, you know, doing not only this parade, but we have the children's parade yesterday, kind of an abbreviated parade route.
Yeah.
This year, with the Olympics being this summer, the theme was Go for the Gold. And the Leap of Faith Dance Studio, actually, a lot of these girls danced and walked in that parade yesterday.
And then we're again a part of some of the performances over on the festival grounds afterwards as well. With all these dance studios, I should really reach out and get a couple of lessons because not a whole lot of rhythm going on over here for me.
I mean, not just walking down the parade route, but dancing down it.
And I love seeing with the dance schools like this, you can see the different ages of the dancers that they have, which is so fun.
And the dance dads that get into it. They've got their cut-off purple shirts, they've got their kilts. It's a whole group effort here. And just north of us, I enjoy this spot. You know, it's one of my favorite lunch spots, and every year when I play softball up in Memphis, this is where we go to during our breaks. But the Doghouse Tavern, located in Memphis.
Are there normally this many dogs when you go as well?
Not usually, no. But they're kind of connected back there too. They connected the backs of the winery and the doghouse together to kind of make a little area.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Sponsors Richmond Relics and Michael Kerr State Farm, Richmond Foot and Ankle Clinic, and I missed another one, Caitlin.
I think you hit them all. I think the only other one would have been Richmond Community Schools, I think was another one over
Gotcha.
there. And then Susan Helms Accounting also coming through as another one of our sponsors.
And MHM Electrical Contractors.
We also had another bit of our Shriners come through. Again, a really great mission that they have, making sure no family is turned away when it comes to medical expenses for their children. So always a great one to check out.
And the Elmont Raider Marching Band. Playing the Bare Necessities.
I knew you had that one right away because you started bopping along to it. really get involved when they see like one of the bands that they really love coming through.
Or someone they know.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a new one. Gordon's Rustic Artistry.
Did you get it?
Got it.
And in case anybody is wondering, I am not related. So unfortunately, if you go there and name drop me, you are not going to get a discount. But you might see me in store to get some of these things.
I know. I was like, it's like a spooky thing.
Yeah.
It's like artsy. It says Gordon's on it. I was like, it's got to be, but...
Preston was like, we had a whole hour to talk to you and tell me about this new business.
Yeah. And next is the Youth for Christ and Action Homesteaders. A couple of their trucks and trailers out here. We got members of the Youth for Christ group and the Action Homesteader families passing out information to our parade watchers and some candy.
Now this one looks a little bigger, Preston, so this one might be a harder sell for Sam.
Yeah. And I've seen their signs and their trucks out around town this summer doing some different jobs. Girk Shoes, staple here in town. If you're looking for some really good shoes or good boots, make sure you go check them out. I know they've been doing some sidewalk sales this week. This is Jeremy Yake's antique truck. Again, always we see this truck every year, and it's always in pristine condition.
You would never know that it goes out and about.
Banner for Jamie Green for state rep. We saw Representative Green go by a little earlier. Dick Huvars and Blue Flame Propane and Sunrise Store sponsor banners. And again, we're getting a shot just to look at, you know, a lot of just this section of town and how many people are here, but it doesn't do justice to really how many people have been here all weekend. We talked about the class starting it off Thursday with the classic car show. So
I'm so excited you can share this story.
I don't own a classic car. I mean, classic if you consider a 2021 Silverado classic, but I don't think most people would. But we also, another thing we have opening night is the 5K that the track team has done for a number of years now. So I needed to get the timing system from the school up to the festival, and I had my truck. So I'm like, okay. Well, we also had JV football going on at the school and varsity volleyball that same night. So got those started. Everything's running great. And so I hop in my truck and I turn onto Main, and I was the last car they let go down Main Street. As I'm coming down north on Main, south, the classic car show starts. And so about halfway down, we kind of passed each other. People are waving, so I'm like, I'm in the parade, I'm waving.
You can't beat them, join them.
I know.
If you're already there, you might as well participate in it.
I wish I would have known, because I would have took and got my truck washed.
I was going to ask you, was it washed and ready for a parade that day?
It was not parade ready. But, you know, I sold it. Hey. You know,
but it really has been a beautiful weekend for the festival this year. Like you said, kicked it off with the classic car show. We've had the demolition derby, bump and run. They've done the children's parade, classic cars and tractors up at the festival grounds. A lot of great vendors set up as well.
Yeah, and one that's, you know, a little bit further from the festival, but they had a burnout competition at Van's Tire down in the old Kmart. And I could hear it from my house. It went pretty late into the evening. And when I drove by, a ton of cars out there.
Yeah.
So there's really, you know, for a small town parade, there's something for everybody. So we're looking at the Cuzno Patriot Band. Nice. Some Pitbull.
Again, this is probably one of our larger bands that comes out and celebrates with us almost every year.
We got some Cuzno fans behind us. Building the anticipation for what they're going to play next. What's up, our parade goers dancing?
I know, they're really getting
How
into
could
it
you
for
not?
this one.
And next is some of the families from Richmond, New Holland, the New Holland dealership. One of their, ooh, they got a tractor and a little machine up there.
You got to cut down your list, Preston. You
I know.
can't keep adding more. Top three,
Top three, I know.
because we still need the side-by-side.
But if you haven't checked it out, they do have some really, if you're looking for a machine, they do have some really cool machines out there to really help get some yard work done. And you know, with this being the weekend after Labor Day, we're getting really close to harvest season, so it's kind of one of the last weekends a lot of these farmers have before they really gear up and start getting everything ready to go. So we got Denny Esper there from Esper Farms in one of his tractors. This is about the speed they'll be driving down the road.
Through town and everything.
You know, it's just one of those things that comes with living in a small town. You just know, okay, in the spring during planting season and during the fall, your odds are you're going to run into a tractor, and you just take a little bit extra time.
I take that as my sign from the universe. If I get caught behind a tractor in town, it's like, you know what, maybe I do need to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no choice in the matter, but I'll take it as a sign.
Yeah. And next, some more tractors, and these are from the Christensen Farms. They're kind of all over the place, you know, Richmond Township, Lenox, different fields they take care of.
So I love how when you look at kind of the classic tractors, they were that red and orange. You get into some of the newer models, they get into that green. But I mean, transparently, we can do anything. So what color would your tractor be? Sam says you can get a brand new one, whatever you want, honey.
I'm gonna make one of these companies that came through with all their equipment mad. I mean, you know, as a Richmond Blue Devil, that New Holland blue is sharp.
It is pretty sharp.
So if anybody from New Holland is listening, you won the tractor color competition. But, you know, these John Deeres are tough to beat too. We see one of the UTV. Actually, I've got one like that at the school I use for taking care of the fields and setting up for games, and it's really helpful. This one says Agravac, so some sort of vacuum.
Preston, is that a little glimpse into your future not too long out on the tractor with the baby?
Could be. A little bit smaller tractor. And actually, one of the things that we've already seen, and I've seen quite a bit of it too, living where I do, is, you know, it's been cutting season for hay and for wheat.
Yeah. And look at this really cool display, a tractor on a tractor.
You'll have to see it when it kind of comes by. You got to kind of see it from the side, but it's a hay bale tractor.
That is the only kind of tractor, realistically, I should be allowed to operate.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, we'd put Caitlin up there and she'd be turning the wheel and thinking that she's actually driving.
I'm really doing something for it, yeah.
We're not going to tell her that she's really not, so. But more of the Christensen family and the Christensen Farm staff. I know my brother Parker will be up there quite a bit as the fall rolls in and it becomes harvest time. It's really an all hands on deck approach.
Yep. Limited time to get things done, so we can appreciate that.
Giving a thumbs up to our camera crew down there. Now, what if this whole thing was loaded with candy? How awesome would that be? Okay.
We should make that suggestion for them.
Do you think the amount of candy that's passed out in the parade, do you think it could fill both of those, this truck and the trailer?
We saw those Home Depot buckets. I think it could.
I think it could as well.
With 13 bands, definitely.
Yeah. So, kind of as we see the See You Here Next Year banner, we always wrap the parade up with this. We talk traditions, and you know, one of the big traditions with the parade is the final group that comes through are all of our volunteers. And I mean, these people you see running around like crazy, even today.
Yeah.
You know, walking down the parade route, I saw the blue parade official shirts and people on golf carts.
And their lanyards ready to go. Everybody had their clipboards going.
But I mean, we talk about all 4 days of the festival, all the different events we talked about, and all the different places people have to be. And, you know, working with different crowds and vendors and whatnot. But then scale that back or scale that up and look at the week before, all of the setup. And then you keep going further back in the year and you look at all of the meetings that take place and all of the planning and, you know.
Realistically, I think maybe these guys give themselves this next week off. They pat themselves on the back that they've had another really successful good old days. And then they get right back to planning for next year's festivities.
And it's, you know, all of the things we talk about, all of the things that make this festival and this community great, and what brings all of these people out to the parade are the work that these volunteers put in. And that they are just that. They're volunteers. This is something that they are passionate about and give their time for year after year after year. And what's really cool to see is we see some of our regular volunteers and their kids come up through this. And then they become volunteers themselves.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it is kind of a sad time, and as the last of these volunteers in their golf carts make their way down, the banners will come down. We'll hear a couple more screams from the midways, and the smell of elephant ears will
fade away, unfortunately.
But we can't help, you know, as we wrap up, feeling special about this festival. It really pushes the sun back up. It gives us 4 more days of summer. and the joy that that season brings. And we want to thank you for coming along with us. Thanks for being here with the parade, and we can't wait to see you next year at Good Old Days.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us again in Richmond TV for all their coverage throughout the weekend, and for inviting me and Preston back to be a part of your Good Old Days weekend once again.
Yep, so until next year, I'm Preston Trend.
And I'm Caitlin Gordon.
And we'll see you next time for another Good Old Days.
Bye, guys.